I'm going to put it right here in front of me. All right. Move that over. Order on August the 1st, 2022, regular meeting. Our minutes are available for you. Commissioners, so I assume that you have read them. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes.
Mr. Donahoe has moved to approve the minutes as stipulated.
I'll second.
Ms. Salter has seconded. All further, for any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Under old business, Dr. Benny Barron is going to give us a short but sweet update on the Rock House.
Should I stand over here?
Wherever you're comfortable, that would be great, probably.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
There's a long story. I'm not telling any of the long story. I'll answer questions when I finish if you have some, but I choose to pick a spot in the middle of the story, which is just an interim update. If you've noticed, we're doing a lot of work down the riverbank. What we've discovered that slowed us down some, not many people know what's buried on the riverbank. When you start digging in it to put a foundation in the ground, you start finding out. We found coaxial cable that we didn't know was there.
Cracks of,
Cable
oh, good.
that was this big around that we didn't know was there. Have to have it because the stage operates off of it to internet. So then how do you replace it? And if you know much about those cables, they're hard to splice. You don't just hook them together real quick. So we finally decided to run along the top of our fence down there, then go up over the driveway and wait till we finished to string it up where it belongs. We have found spots that are supposed to be here that were way over there. Spots supposed to be 5 feet away from the sewage line that's against the sewage line. We've had to move 1.5 transformers from where they were before to where they are now, and they're still in a bad spot because the plans were drawn, it said they should be placed at this spot. They got 4 feet away. But it's not unexpected. Anytime you dig into a place on a riverbank like that, it'd be nice to think that our city had just elaborate data banks of where everything was down there, but it just has not happened and probably won't be. And I don't count that as bad because we spent a lifetime taking what's there and making it work. We're in the middle of it now. Little things like we thought the stairs coming down the end of the Jordan office building went straight down. No, they don't. They come down here, come over here, and come down here. And at last count, there's about 5 major lines under that with no steel in the stairs. And we had to redraw all of that. So those are some of the things we run into. But with all that in mind, we're in good shape. Happy. All this is happy stuff. We're right in the middle. We think the guidelines that we drew up, time frame, is solid. We're still looking at late spring, maybe June, somewhere in there. And my last conversation I had with DSW was this afternoon about 1:30. And I said, we're all in a hurry. We want it finished. We're eager to see what it's like. But let's don't be hasty and not do something the right way. So let's go as fast as we can, but inside the parameter of doing things. For example, we thought the shingles would be a simple decision. Well, we found out it was a lengthy decision. We have fought back and forth and had people in Baton Rouge and Eddie and all kind of people look at it, but we finally got a decision. Now, of all the crazy things, the wood up under the overhang, we don't have enough out of the old overhang to go around. So how in the world do you find new old wood that matches the old wood you already have? Well, we found some that was 1.5 inches thick, but we got to have 3/4. And that's just to have it. For people, again, I thought when we got into this spot, my work would be by and large done. I'm finding out we're meeting probably 2 or 3 times a week. Got a big meeting Thursday to straighten out delays. And this is the kind of stuff we're doing. Right now, what you see down there boxed in on Riverbank is our rock house. Now, the reason it's boxed in, we're doing all we can to preserve the bousillage. Because if it rained on it, it would melt. So we don't want the rain on it. We took the roof off and got inside the roof and under it, and half of that was rotten. We can't really save any of that. And if we use old shingles, we run into trouble there. Took the chimney down, and the chimney is not an 1803 design. The chimney is a modern design, so it's taken a lot of time to chase old brick and make sure we had the 1803 design that should fit the house. Well, we've got the design right, and we're still chasing the brick. But we're ready to move the house when we decide exactly we want to make it in 2 moves or 1 move. See, we have to do the stairs, the retaining wall, and the support building before you do the rock house, because when you do the rock house, it blocks you getting to those places. And we've got to get in there with concrete and everything else you can imagine. So we're in good shape. We're ready to move it. There's no floor in it. We down to where you're seeing all the rafters under it. We've saved probably 80% of the floor, and we just found 20% to match the 80. It'll look like it did in 1803, because it has 1 before floor in there for about 20% of it. Well, it didn't have 1 before floor in 1803. We think that was added in 1967. So we keep running into things like that. But we're online right now. We're ready to move it. We think we've protected the walls, because there is a pile of black tarp all over that building and blue tarp. We've had so many people say, well, you tore it down. Well, it looks like, it doesn't look now like it's going to look. But we're trying our best to protect it so nothing happens to it. Now, we do know we'll move it. Moving it will be no problem. But what we're anticipating is a surprise. Right now, when you look at all the beams in the house, and we've done that with using a computer and laser beams to draw up a brand new as-built plan to the house to see what we're trying to get back to. But we've got doors in there that 3 inches too high at this end than down here. In other words, they're not plumb at all. Now, you can move the building. Moving it's not going to be a problem at all. And we'll move it and not hurt it when we move it. Right now, we're prepared to box it with plywood all the way around the outside and cable around that, so those walls are not going to go out. But once you start moving it, boussage is going to crumble out of those walls. It's crumbling out now, just standing there. Now, what we worry about is you have a choice. You can move the house and build a foundation under it, or you can build a foundation and move the house on top of the foundation, which is what we're going to do. So when you have a plumb foundation, and you set an unplumbed house on top of it, guess what's going to happen? The walls are going to move back to plumb. And when they move back to plumb, you're going to have some doors that were like this, they'll come back like that. And when they do, we're totally prepared that almost all the boussage is going to come out. The people on the construction down there, DSW, George, and the people going to work on it, they all went to school, put on a Dusty Fuquay, and all certified that they can do all the boussage. So we're not worried about that, and it's not going to be that difficult to do boussage. We think when you start moving it and plumbing up, we're going to, and remember now, the only reason we went to 8-foot overhang all the way around is so that we can have our exterior walls, boussage walls, open to everybody to see them. If you look across French Creole, go downriver, look at some of them. If you don't have a big overhang, you what they call clap the wall. You cover it with shiplap and stuff so the rain can't get to it. We had one end clapped down here by the river, took all the boards off, and the water got into it and practically melted the boussage behind that wood. So we're trying real hard, stay at the 8 feet, and people tell us that we'll have one of the few houses that they know of that every wall in the house will be boussage, every one of them. And it'll be mud and mostly moss. I can't imagine how many deer we'd have to kill to get enough hair to do all those boussage walls. Now, that's the update. So that's where we are. We still fully expect late next spring, maybe June, we should be finished, have a big river cutting and a big gate on the riverbank and over everything up. But we're not going to get so fast that we don't do it the right way. So that's where we are. So if you have questions.
You've done it the right way. So really, it's such an important structure, and we appreciate you coming and giving us the information on what's going on, because I also had somebody say, they've torn that down, they just have it covered. Said,
Well,
no,
Sharon, it looks
so.
pretty bad right now.
I
You see that big
know,
old
I
black,
know.
looks like a big rectangle box down there wrapped up on the riverbank.
But keep us informed, and we appreciate your taking your time to come.
At any time, be happy anytime. Was that short enough?
That was perfect. You get.
I'm out of here.
You get an A+.
Thanks,
Okay,
Benny.
bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Let us know the day you're moving it.
Well, we're considering that the day not the day we move it, the day we put it on that platform, that when we set it down, we're going to announce the time and date and have some wine and cookies and invite everybody to come and stand up on the riverbank and watch.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because you could see it from the top. And people, we run people off that riverbank all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. We have high school students climb the fence, all things. It just, everything. And we got people down there that should not be down there at
Those are
all.
Northwestern students, not our Louisiana school students, no.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be, yeah, it wouldn't be. But, we don't get upset. We just tell people, we know you're interested, but you're really not safe to be down here. That's number one. You're really not safe. But we still have to run people off. Goes on all the time.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay,
We
anytime.
appreciate it.
Okey dokey, bye-bye.
Bye. Oops. Okay. Is there any other old business to come before the commission, Ms. Rock?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let's move into new business. 10-0301 Peggy Acock, that is for a roof replacement, which was an emergency replacement, and that's to ratify. Is there a motion to ratify?
Move to ratify.
Dr. Horton has moved to ratify. Dr. Owens has seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? And I saw Ms. Johnson came in. Do you want to present yours?
It's a ratification.
It's a ratify. We had already done that, okay. This is painting. It's all the existing colors and also a request to use a flat black to paint the iron fence.
I move to ratify.
I'll second.
Mr. Donahoe has moved to ratify. Ms. Salter has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? 10-0303, Robert O'Brien, representing 570 Front Street, Suites 201, 202, 301, and 302. Those are the balconies. And do you have a picture of that? I don't know if you all have one, but it's already been approved.
Just repainting the same.
Same color, all of
Move to
that.
ratify.
Dr. Horton has moved to ratify. Dr. Owens has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? City of Natchitoches, Front Street, East Side, Riverbank. And
He just walked in.
who just walked in?
Randy.
Oh, hey, we just got to you.
Come to the podium.
Okay, there's the top. Oops. That fell off.
I'm up. I apologize, Madam Chairman, everybody. Been a long week and a long weekend. I went home and forgot about this completely.
Oh, good. Well, you look like Joe Burrow.
That's how you
He's wearing-
plan for retirement, is you finally get where you can write it out of your mind completely. And I'm close to that point. But in any event, we were asked to replace a sign that had been up there for God knows 20 years on Front Street. We took it down during the construction, and because of all the changes with the sidewalks, the bench areas, they're now brick but of a complete different design, we just put it all on hold. I had it completely refurbished. It looks brand new. One side's French and one's English. And there are a number of locations that it could go back up, and the commission can just about pick a spot and say, I want it here or there, and we'll reinstall it if it's approved.
Where was it previously? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Where was it located previously?
Right across from Sandra Dickens's shop, pretty much, right in that area.
Does the city want it to go back on Front Street? It's supposed, I was just thinking, what about that park y'all built it where the old cleaners was, kind of closer to the fort?
I would have no objections to moving it if that's what the majority would want to do. This was a response to someone who went to the mayor and said, hey, what happened to the sign? I think it should be put back up. I don't object to putting it anywhere y'all want to put it, I do think it needs to go back up somewhere.
Definitely.
I was wondering, since it is about the Indians giving the name to the city and all, if you put it down, Jared, closer to the cleaners down there, if there are tourists that come and they only come in the Front Street area, they may never see that because it's too far down that way. And I see it going back on Front Street. And the closer to one of the entrances to Front Street, I think is the better place to put it.
Is that what you, as far as
So that would be the one at
the central
Trudeau.
stair?
Trudeau.
Well, you have the plaza stair at the south end. You have a smaller stair and entry right in front of the landing. Either of those two locations that easily accessible, where while I'm standing there, I can view it. It wouldn't matter to me. I picked 3 different spots and just sort of suggested where there was open areas that would be very easy to reinstall it.
Does
Mr. Owens made
everybody
a
have-
very astute observation. It probably needs to be 6 blocks north of the fort, because the sign says 6 blocks south.
I didn't try to measure it, and at the
That's what I
same
would do, is figure
time,
the 6 blocks. and
no
then
one's
where-
gonna go, give or take 30 or 40 or 50 feet, no one's gonna go measure it, but
Don't say, never say never.
hey, just blame it on me, everybody else does, it's okay.
What's somewhere within 6 blocks, because Choate's is 600 Front Street, so I mean,
Will commissioners decide where you would like?
I could go back and put where it was.
Yep. Is that a motion, Dr. Horton?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Okay, it's been moved by Dr. Horton, seconded by Ms. Robinson to place the sign in its original location. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Thank you, and I would appreciate if any of you would sort of go look and just
We-
send me
we
a
can
text or call
measure.
me and tell me we prefer it here or there, and we'll put it back up.
And we can measure at the same time?
6 blocks.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to help?
What distinguishes a block these days now?
And I want y'all to know, our dog Izzy is really, really upset with me because I was about to walk out the front door with her to go walk, and she was not happy. Okay?
Enjoy your walk.
Mr. Lacaze,
Thank y'all.
Mr. Lacaze, we just voted to put it back where it was originally. So did you want to move it to a different spot? You just said to let you know where.
And give or take 30 feet or so, it would be where it was originally.
Yeah, right, that's fine.
It'd be close.
It's just the way the offsets for the benches changed, you can't be exactly where it was.
Yeah.
We're not calling Randy, you just put it there.
Hey,
Just cement it in.
the worst is I install it, you don't like it, I move it,
Yeah.
okay?
Get that in the minutes. Please.
Thank y'all, and I
Thank you.
apologize, I swear, just
No,
out of my mind.
we appreciate your making.
And it's
it-
Chantrell's fault, she did not call and remind me.
6 blocks service.
Okay. 10-0305, Leslie Raymond. This is signage, and it's actually on Dan Dice's property. I think I read that. Do you have these? You have the signs? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, there you are.
We are just putting a sign up in front of Dan Dice's building. We're going to be renting there, and it's going to look exactly like his sign, except it's going to say Hometown Mortgage of Natchitoches. Y'all have a picture of his sign on what I?
Yes.
We have
It's
it.
going to be wood around it.
It
It's
meets
going
the same
to, it's going to be exactly like his, which is
Okay.
same colors, same everything.
Is this a second location?
No, we sold our building.
Oh.
Or we were closing on our building, hopefully
Okay.
on the 31st of this month, and we will be moving there and renting.
Okay.
Move to
I'll make a
approve it.
motion,
I'll
we
second.
approve the sign.
Ms. Salter has moved to approve the signage as presented. Dr. Horton has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Okay. 10-0306, Christy Pennison, 304 University Parkway. This is for signage. This is the former Bolton Real Estate Office.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm with the Inspire Counseling and Consulting, and what we're proposing is to pretty much use the existing signpost and pretty much just replace the signage that was already there. So we're still doing the same dimensions as the former sign. It obviously just has our logo and information on it versus the original sign that was there.
Okay, so this will just go in between the two.
It's on a corner lot too. So
Yes.
it's way
Two-sided,
under the.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am, it's going to be double-sided.
Okay, all righty.
I'll make a motion to approve the signage.
Second, Ms. Robinson, excuse me, Ms. Salter has moved to accept the signage as presented. Ms. Robinson has seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition?
All right, thank
Okay.
y'all.
Thank you, good luck. Before we move into other new business, Ms. Johnson, was there something, you just wanted to make sure it was
She
okay?
just had nothing else to do, so she decided she's gonna hang out. She might as well stay.
We're happy to have you. Yeah.
Don't ask questions.
Roman numeral 5, under other new business, I'd like for you all to begin looking at your calendar for January. It's about time, it's been several years since we reviewed the ordinance. We'll talk about this really after Christmas in the first part of the year, but we need to look at several things in the ordinance, and especially with some of the new areas, that have been brought into the district. Because now we have local, we have state, we have National Register, we have Natchitoches Historic District, and we have Landmark. So we'll probably have a work session. I think we can probably handle it in maybe one afternoon or over lunch, and it'll be fun. Y'all all look so unhappy.
Sharon, I do have a question.
Sure.
You know, with the revitalization of Texas Street, part of that is the historic district, but none of the commissioners have been asked to participate in that revitalization group. So I was just wondering if anybody had. Is it historic?
Part of it is, but what are the boundaries, do you know?
Oh, goodness,
far
I
as-
wish I would have brought the map with me. That way I would have been
It
able
goes up to
to.
Second,
Mm-hmm.
and then you turn left and you're on Second. You turn off of Texas onto Second,
Miss
correct?
Sharon, don't make me sit here and try to tell you.
Well,
So I'm not sure that, does any of the revitalization,
That part, the triangle, I know is not.
yeah, I'm
We
not
don't go
sure.
that far.
I don't know
We don't
what
go
the
that far.
scope of the revitalization is.
I think it's just for businesses. and-
Business only.
Yeah, unless that little, what is there, a little brown building on the corner after you turn off Second going towards Washington, there is an office on this side, but I don't know
I don't
if they're
think
gonna
that's in
try
it.
to get anything, but everything else is residential.
It's
So that
only
would be
3.
the only one that would,
So far, it's only 3 that actually
Yeah.
made it.
3.
3 businesses
Businesses that have.
that actually applied and supposed to be
Oh,
receiving.
Well, we'll look into that.
There were a lot of people that were appointed to that commission, and so I was just wondering if anybody from the historic commission was asked to participate in it, but if it's.
No, but if you're interested in it, go tell the mayor.
No, I'm not,
I'll
I was
maybe.
just asking.
Yeah, I think it's, I like that, I don't know how much of the little, I'm just looking at the map. Obviously, I think a portion of Texas Street is in the district, but whether or not the program ends up, covering that, I'm not sure, but to the extent that it does, I guess we should have.
I don't think it reaches, the only part that I can think of that actually reaches Texas Street is by the light.
Is what?
By the light where the gentleman, Mr. Taylor, did the duplex. Now, that part may be by Texas Street,
Oh,
but
on the
after
river?
that,
On the
On the
river?
corner.
Second Street, right, like, so you go from the block of, you go from Second in Texas, to Washington, right? So
yeah, you take
Yeah,
Washington.
just that
all the
little
way up.
area.
all the way up.
Cause
Well,
they brought in,
houses.
it used to be Cane River Bar and Grill, but now it's El Rio Cantina.
Well, that was annexed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
brought
annexed.
into the district as a local district, not a state district, but a local district.
But the rest of Texas, I don't think any of that is in historic
Well, we've
district.
had application before from the Ms. Abington has a rental house on Third Street that is one house off of where, it's right behind where the Sudden Link building used to be, where Sudden Link was before they, well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing to
We'll do a
do.
new map. We'll do a new map.
It is.
Have we, or on old business, not to change such, or the new business, have we heard anything, more from the, place across from your house, Mary?
You want to tell them
As far
about that?
as activity at the old Johnson warehouse, there's been 0. They did come, it's probably been about 4 weeks ago, and they cleared off back to the fence, which you can now see from Mill Street all the way back to the fence that belongs to the old fort. And tomorrow night, they are going to the zoning commission, and they are asking for a B3 with a BA to sell alcohol. And they have said in that particular application, on the notice that I received, that it is a venue/restaurant. But that is all. There's been no other communication. The
And I've
Shell
asked
Trail-
if they had anything else, and they told me they were preparing information, because the packet that they presented to me, I asked were they ready to present that to HDC. They were not. When we got to talking about parking and all of that good stuff, what were they wanting to present, they did not have that together yet.
Okay, yeah. That's as far as I know.
So
Nothing
they'll-
else has been done.
Yeah. So you'll be at planning and zoning,
Yes, I plan to go tomorrow night.
so maybe we can
I
get-
do have a question, though.
Sure.
What have you heard about the condos and the homeowners association? There was a note plastered
Which condo?
The-
Down here or,
on the front street.
But there's
Oh.
2 sets.
Well, I'm not sure which one. I think it may be the ones that was closest to,
the old theater or across from, the Main Street office?
I think
North
by
end?
the Main Street office.
Okay.
I haven't physically seen the sign, but I was provided a statement that said that the homeowners association pretty much has taken a stance that the second and third floor balconies are not to be used, and that no pedestrians of any kind are supposed to walk underneath their balcony. Have you guys heard anything of that nature?
They've come before, not the homeowners association, but several homeowners have come before us over the past, 4 years or something?
To
Jared?
fix things.
Yeah, things that were falling apart, or when actually one of those balconies did, it collapsed partially.
Well,
So,
there's Mr. O'Brien that came before us to paint those balconies. Can we not talk to him?
I don't know. I don't know
who
a
he
policeman
is.
walked by and sent the picture of the notice to Chief Nikeo. He then sent it to me, and I sent it to Randy. So then we escalated up to the city attorneys, and we're trying to see, is that something that the city needs to get involved in? Because we haven't heard anything.
We're telling people not to walk on the sidewalk on Front Street underneath their balcony. Does the
And then-
balcony, I mean, I know the balcony at the
Yeah.
old theater is there a balcony at the one by the Hall of Fame?
I think it's something
I
to
think
do with
it's the
this.
cut through they.
They're
use.
cut through?
Yeah, like,
There's
that's
no
what you were
balcony.
saying, that they complaining about people walking through, using their elevators and stuff like that. I don't know if it
No, I don't think about that.
was that first floor.
I'm not really sure where the picture came from, but they were saying that the
Donna
second
was saying that
floors.
she had took a call, and that was the complaint.
Well, no, this was actual notice stuck on the door where they were saying that they got their own inspectors to come out and look at the building. They have architects coming out looking at the building, and they're declaring the building to be unsafe.
Well, I would say it's probably the one closest down to the Hall of Fame because of how it was constructed. I wouldn't think too much about the other one.
well,
Yeah, but I just don't know
and,
of any balcony that protrudes over a sidewalk down there.
I don't either.
well, what I'm looking
Yeah,
at,
they do.
you asked about
I don't think
the
they're inset.
O'Brien, man, this is the old theater building. This is the one on, this is the application we had tonight
Yeah.
was for painting the balconies.
That's the one by Rick Nyland's office.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the old theater building, the old opera house, actually,
Mm-hmm.
many, many years ago. So this is not the one north, it's the one on North Front Street is the one that, well, I'll just say it's there, barely.
My question is, if they can't walk under there, how would they get into the businesses that are right under
I was just asking if anybody heard anything, because we haven't made any steps to do anything. They didn't contact us, like I said, they put a notice on the door advising people not to use the back staircase, not to access the second floor or the third floor, because they are declaring the building not to be safe.
So what has the city done? Anything?
Nothing yet.
Well, just let us know what occurs. But that building has been repaired so many times. Okay. All right.
If we see any, if we've learned of any, I guess, permanent signage, or, I mean, I guess if the sign, I don't know what the statute says, if it's, you can have a temporary sign for X number of days or something like that, but if they've got some sign that they posted, yeah, then beyond that, then I think they need to come to us for approval of that sign, technically.
True.
Yeah,
So
just a white piece of
Maybe in a month
paper.
or so,
Yeah.
we wait and see if it's still there, then.
Speaking of
building?
that,
You
No,
wait and see if the building is
Yeah,
still
the
there.
building's still there, yeah.
Is there any, oh, I'm
one
sorry.
other
Go
question,
ahead. Sure.
Chantel, or Sharon, has anything been said to mamas and papas about their sign that's been out there for 6 months to a year?
What sign?
Is it something about a salad bar or
Oh,
what?
Talking
that
about the
was-
balcony, I've sent them letters, I haven't heard anything yet.
That
So
needs to come
hopefully-
down. They
yeah.
didn't come before us, it's been up forever.
And she's looked into it.
Okay.
And not once, but twice that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
That's,
Just
yeah,
go with a pair
in
of
front of the
scissors.
blues,
Cut it down.
a pair of scissors, okay.
Oh, we talking?
Is there any other new business to come before the commission? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Mr. Donahoe has moved to adjourn. Who seconded? Ms. Robinson seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?